Thank you for joining us here today for episode 1 of our Office Hours series. Please stay tuned to receive a special and exclusive offer at the end of this webinar. You're not going to want to miss this. Like I said earlier, we have an amazing product promotion at the end of this webinar, so stick around to the end. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lauren Abraham, and welcome to our first ever webinar series, Office Hours with SkinSolutions.MD. I'm the official athlete ambassador, and due to a high demand from our customers, we've created this webinar series, Office Hours. This series is going to help you guys get educated and provide more information about our SkinSolutions.MD products. And also this webinar has been specifically designed and curated to discuss and highlight our newest RX product, UPNEEQ, which is why we're all here, and how to incorporate this amazing eye drop into your daily beauty regimen, which I just already have this morning. So we're going to see my eyes grow and glow as the webinar continues. Firstly, I am thrilled to provide a live demonstration of using UPNEEQ, and I want to start by introducing the ambassador and talent manager of SkinSolutions.MD, our beautiful Allie. Allie's going to be joining us here. Good morning. Good morning, Allie. Allie is so awesome. I've had the opportunity of getting to know Allie personally while representing SkinSolutions.MD, and I know you're going to love her as much as I do. She's absolutely beautiful and full of life and energy and has become my friend, which I'm really grateful for. She's going to go through the process of getting her prescription and is an avid user and lover of UPNEEQ. So let's watch together as she drops UPNEEQ into one eye on camera. So there's the product right there. So that you can see results in real time of how UPNEEQ works. We'll bring her back after the show, and we are going to show off her amazing results so you can see the dramatic difference that UPNEEQ can make. Allie, thank you for being part of this this journey, and we look forward to seeing results at the end of this presentation. Okay, so she's blinking it away into her eyes. So thanks, Allie. Okay, I'm also honored and excited to represent SkinSolutions.MD and be your host today. We have over 400 people on this webinar from all around the globe, like I said, and we couldn't be more excited to have you guys all with us. So today, presenting alongside me, I have two amazing, smart individuals who are highly respected in the medical world of aesthetics. You'll hear first from Dr. Vish Verma from SkinSolutions.MD, who will share more about his background and career in aesthetics. Dr. Vish Verma will be discussing the evolution of aesthetics and how you can utilize UPNEEQ to give yourself the finishing touch. And then when Dr. Vish gives us all that wonderful information, we are going to be introduced and meet Dr. Raymond Douglas with RVL Pharmaceuticals. And he will also provide details about his background in the industry. Dr. Douglas is going to be focusing on his history of UPNEEQ and how and why it came to market, and who would be a fantastic candidate for UPNEEQ, along with the deep informative dive into the science behind this exciting prescription product. We'll have a Q&A at the end of the presentation, so you, the listeners, everyone in the chat room will have an opportunity to have your specific questions answered, both by Dr. Douglas and by Dr. Vish Verma. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm very, very excited to be presenting on this episode of Office Hours and have the opportunity to show you this powerful product and the way you can enhance and transform your beauty with UPNEEQ every single morning. And touching on my personal experience with UPNEEQ and Latisse, I'll be following the two speakers with my own personal story. I'll be sharing some insider information that I haven't really shared with anyone, and how UPNEEQ has really actually boosted my confidence just in my daily beauty regimen. I never even knew that this product was available, and luckily for me, I fell upon it, but we'll get back to that later. So with no further ado, I'm going to pass the stage and the microphone over to Dr. Vish Verma. Dr. Vish.
Thank you, Lauren, and welcome everyone. We're excited today to discuss the latest advancements in aesthetics. To give you a little background, my wife and I started Revive Med Spa in San Diego in 2006. And since then, we've grown to 3 locations with 37 injectors and are one of the busiest practices in the entire country. And over that time, I've had the pleasure of watching the aesthetics industry evolve with numerous advancements to help address just about every major area of concern, including wrinkles, contour, volume loss, skin texture, and pigmentation. One thing that has been apparent over the years, though, is that most patients feel that the first signs of aging occur around their eyes, and this is one of the most desired areas for rejuvenation. The eyes are truly the focal point of the face and the perception of beauty. Luckily, there have been a lot of great non-surgical options for quite some time to easily enhance some of the most common areas of concern. On this illustration, for example, you can see Botox being used for the glabella or the 11s, the area between the brow. This relaxes those lines between the brows and also opens up the eyes a bit, lifting the medial brow. Botox can also be used laterally for the crow's feet, softening and smoothing that area. And then fillers like Volbella and Restylane for the hollows under the eyes or tear troughs. And now we have 2 prescription products that can be used at home that can really add the finishing touches. Latisse for growing long, dark eyelashes, and now UPNEEQ to lift the upper eyelid and make your eyes look brighter and more prominent, fending off that droopy look. So you might ask, why would I want my eyes to look more open? Well, the interesting thing is that there's actually quite a bit of science behind the openness of your eyes and the perception of beauty. When looking through the literature, we came across some of these key findings. There was a study that showed, for example, the cranially visible iris height is larger among attractive rated eyes compared to unattractive eyes. And there, that very middle line in that diagram is the height of the iris. Another study showed, for example, facial attractiveness increases together with the enlargement of the uncovered eye surface, basically seeing more of the white and iris of the eye. And lastly, a study demonstrated in the upper eyelid, the proportion of the pretarsal space to the upper lid fold is perhaps the most important determinant of that area's aesthetics. In other words, attractive eyes tend to exhibit less eyelid show. And on this diagram, for example, that's between the lines LS and LU. So over here now, you can see a real example of this. This is one of our real patients. She applied UPNEEQ only in one eye to begin. And you can see on the left, that's her normal looking eye with a low hanging upper eyelid. And then on the right, with the UPNEEQ applied, just 10 minutes later, there's lifting of that lid. And now we can see more of the white of her eyes. That eye looks brighter and more open. And you can see, quite an impressive result. So today we're fortunate to have Dr. Raymond Douglas from RVL Pharmaceuticals, who will go into more detail in the background of UPNEEQ, but back to you, Lauren.
Well, Dr. Vish, thank you so much for that information. The results just in that photo alone right there with that real-time lady right there are just absolutely incredible. So thank you, Dr. Vish, for taking us on that informative journey. Now for our second speaker, I would like to welcome and present Dr. Raymond Douglas. Dr. Douglas, take it away.
Thank you so much. And it's really my pleasure to be here. Not only just to talk about UPNEEQ, but also to talk about droopy eyelids or low-lying eyelids, as we like to call them. So I've been in ophthalmology and facial plastic surgery now for about 20 years. And I have a practice in Beverly Hills in addition to practice in other locations. And really have focused upon products such as UPNEEQ that really enhance and that are unique to enhancing the aesthetics of the eyes. So the first thing that we think about is why develop UPNEEQ, and what do you really need it for? Well, I think what you've seen already from Dr. Verma is that it really enhances someone's appearance to have wider open eyes. Especially you don't look as tired, etc. A lot of my patients will say, people ask me, did you not get good enough sleep? They come into me for a blepharoplasty, etc. And the answer is usually there's just a little bit of what's called ptosis or low-lying eyelids. And these are examples of what patients' eyelids may look like. And what is a low-lying eyelid? Well, you can see from left to right various examples, slightly different ages, but various examples of each patients who have slightly low eyelids. And the great thing is we're going to show you what these patients look like after UPNEEQ, a completely non-surgical solution. So the first question, in ISS and patients assess even before coming to see me is, what do my eyes look like? Do I have low-lying eyelids? What does that mean? And so one example is to show various images such as A, B, C, D here. And these are all examples of what low-lying eyelids look like. the eyelid is actually in pretty good position. But you can see that anyone from typically age 35 onward begins, and depending on the time of day, begins to get lower lying eyelids or just a little droopier. And looking at, from A to D, you can almost see how patients could appear to be more tired or potentially less attractive, and how, elevating the eyelid could certainly improve things. Low-lying eyelids interfere with daily function also. For example, reading, computer use, the lower your eyelids become, the more you have to use your brows to try to raise them. And that can result in a lot of strain. So a lot of patients not only find the appearance improved, but also their visual function. And that was actually one of the endpoints of the studies that we used for UPNEEQ, was actually looking at a patient's visual field, or how much light gets let in. That was the endpoint for approval for UPNEEQ. And so I think that's very important to consider. So here we see the difference with UPNEEQ. We learned already now a little bit about mild, moderate, severe, low-lying eyelids, but now we can see it in real life. These are real patients. Several of these are my patients, and they've had UPNEEQ added to both eyelids. And here we're seeing the before and after. And it's shown at 2 hours, but typically the effects occur in about 10 to 15 minutes, where you can see. And you can certainly see patients of various ages. And one of the things you'll see is the effect now of raising those eyelids. And UPNEEQ works on a very small muscle inside the eyelid for about 8 hours and raises that eyelid. And my patients call it a cup of coffee for their eyelids. And they feel that they look more wide, open, and whiter, is the way they can describe it. But certainly seeing the before and after photos are really impressive. So real patients, real results. So these go through a series of these, of patients who describe various ways that they have hooded eyes. And a lot of patients are skeptical, like this patient, but making a huge difference. This is a patient in her 60s. And they noticed one eye, noticeably lifted and could see better. So a lot of times we tell patients, try it in one eye, see what happens, because you can really see the difference, and then try it in the other eye. And you'll find that even if one eyelid is a little lower than the other, it begins to give you more symmetry. But here you can see, certainly after UPNEEQ, a very nice improvement. Next one. This is a patient a little younger, 56, using it and looking to feel more awake and noticing a difference in the visual field. So it's always great when a product comes in and says, okay, well, I can see the result in the mirror, but I can also see the result because I can see better. This is a patient who's 41. And this is very typical of a patient I may see in the office. Beginning to get mild drooping eyelids, worse some points of the day, in the 40s, but then seeing a difference using this in the morning or before going out, seeing the openness of the eyes, but also that improvement of visual field. And then a patient also in the 50s, both for men and women, again, opening that eyelid, and you can just see more white of the eye. And that allows you to have more eye contact, look less tired, and really translates into both a better appearance, but as this patient describes, as it being amazing, and the eyes are bright and wide open. Another patient here, and you can certainly see she had a little moderate ptosis, but certainly kind of the eyelid position that a lot of people were even born with or develop over time, and can become very self-conscious about not having open and clear eyes and avoiding eye contact, even subtly. So UPNEEQ in this circumstance really kind of changed how she approached people, not feeling so self-conscious, having wider, brighter eyes, as she describes. And after, and it doesn't take a long time for this drop to work. So this patient saw after 2 minutes, she was stunned by the results. Now, that's a little on the fast side as far as what our studies have shown. Usually it's about 10 to 15 minutes. But again, you do see rapid results with this. It's not something you have to wait hours to see. Rapid results, typically with one drop, And as you can see in the product here, these are individual drops. And so they normally have enough for both eyes. And even if you spill a little bit, there's plenty in there. And then they're disposable so that there's no chance of infection or other problems that can be associated with eye drops. There's also no preservative, so no chance of allergy from any kind of preservative that may be added. So I would like to turn it back over to Lauren, and hopefully that's helpful, and we'll entertain any questions as we go along.
Dr. Douglas, thank you so much. And thank you for talking about the aging process and how, you know, we all understand gravity. And I have been really, really, self-conscious about my eyes, specifically coming into my 40s. I'll be 43 in March. And my truth is, I literally have gotten a couple consultations a couple years ago, actually about a year and a half ago, about getting my upper eyelids surgery and maybe having a forehead lift or something like that. And that's because I just feel like over time, my eyelids have gotten heavy and I become very, very self-conscious about it, to where I literally say to my friends, oh, me and my beady little eyes. Like, that's literally what I say to myself. Oh yeah. And so I'm constantly wearing sunglasses, and I'm on the road as an athlete and as a TV host. And it's just so, it's strenuous. I'm flying all the time, so there's inflammation. I think that has a lot to do with it also. And so for me, I literally went to my Botox injector and about 6 months ago, and he handed me a sample of UPNEEQ because I was telling him who I'm consulting with about my surgery. And he was like, oh, no. You're not doing that. That's way too permanent, and you're way too young for that. And that's not, just try this. And he gave me some UPNEEQ, just one little sample. I tried it and I couldn't believe it. It lasted literally to the next day. And I put UPNEEQ in my eyes this morning. I do it every other day because for me, the results last long, and maybe I'm just very sensitive, but I really, really appreciate the long lasting results of it. And, you know, I just feel like, and I'm sure Dr. Vish can back me in this, that Botox, because I've been getting Botox since I was 27. And when I was younger, it gave me an eyebrow lift. And now for some reason that is just not working for me anymore. Maybe it's my metabolism as an athlete, but that those results that I got in my Botox opening my eyes is now not working. And now I find that those results are working clearly from UPNEEQ. I'm a firm believer both in UPNEEQ and of course in Latisse, and I pair those two products together, and it's just like, I mean, I don't have to wear eyelash extensions. I got on that train of the eyelash trend for 6 years, and when I got off of the eyelash extensions, I started using Latisse again, and sure enough, my eyelashes grew back within a couple weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, and I had healthy, beautiful eyelashes again, and I didn't have to find myself in Costa Rica surfing or out in some crazy mountain town where there was not upkeep for eyelash extensions, where I would get really, really self-conscious. So I had the eyelash thing going on, I had the droopy eyelid thing going on, and now I don't have either of those going on. And I'm sure Dr. Verma can back me when it comes to these things happening. And I think that I've struggled with ptosis, Dr. Douglas. I really think that I do. And now it's not even a thought process anymore. And I'm so grateful for this product because the thought of having surgery hasn't even entered my mind since I've discovered UPNEEQ. So I'm just so happy for these products. But Dr. Verma, can you educate me why my eyes got droopy over time? Why does this happen to us?
Well, yeah, no, and reference to your comments on Botox. I mean, certainly, throughout the years in the clinic, we've seen, as people continue to age, the dosing requirements for Botox can go up, and some people do end up building even a slight tolerance. And keep in mind, even if Botox is placed correctly, it can help lift the eyebrow, but it's not going to really do anything for the eyelid. And so, you can get nice lifting of the brows, but as we age, eyelids themselves start to droop and hang lower. And that's why, UPNEEQ really is a perfect addition to your Botox regimen, because we want to lift both the eyelid and the eyebrow, if possible.
Yeah, well, it definitely is helping me out. That's for sure. I mean, I'm already seeing my eyes are brighter and more open right now just from putting the product in before the webinar. So we're going to go see Allie's results also. But Doctor, I think I'm not using UPNEEQ every day. I'm using it every other day because that's what's working for me at this point. But
have you had any issues with UPNEEQ? Any side effects or anything?
All positive. I've had great side effects. Hello. I mean, I just feel awake, you know, and sometimes
Yeah.
I'm working these long hours, traveling all the time. I'm living out of a suitcase. It's exhausting. And it's not only just, you know, just the age thing, but it's also the energy thing. And for me, the UPNEEQ with the Latisse and the pairing of the two just really gives me the confidence boost that I need.
Yeah.
And it's just fantastic. So I'm really, really just honored to be with SkinSolutions.MD. And not only that, but you guys make it so easy to order both medical grade and prescription strength products. Like, it's just incredible. And I would like to show you guys on this quick video, everyone here that's joining us, how you can go ahead and order it right to your doorstep. I mean, it's so simple. So let's go ahead and play this video and let everyone know how this can be done for all of us.
Complete the medical intake form and complete your video consultation with the doctor. All of this is done from the comfort of your home. No uncomfortable trips to the doctor or med spa. Once approved, they deliver your UPNEEQ directly to your doorstep. It's that easy. So how do you use UPNEEQ? First, cut open the plastic sleeve and remove the tube from the packaging. Shake the vial, twist off the top, and apply 1 drop to each eye and close them for 60 seconds to get the best result. Discard the tube and wait for it to take effect. The results speak for themselves. See the new you with bigger, bolder, brighter eyes. Results in as little as 5 minutes and lasts up to 8 hours.
They do speak for themselves because I'm looking in a mirror right now. My eyes are already bolder, but let's check in with Allie, our beautiful, beautiful ambassador from Skin Solutions, when she dropped in the eyes. And Allie, how you doing, honey?
I'm doing good. As you guys can see, I put it in this eye. I don't know if anyone saw that before, since its speaker goes here, but I did put it in one eye here, and you can see it's been only about 20 minutes. And you can see that this one's a little bit bigger, and it's going to get a lot bigger throughout the day as well.
Awesome. I can tell the difference 100%. I hope everyone else can. Dr. Vish, Dr. Douglas, is this typical results after about 20 minutes?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, one of the things is if you just look at your one side of your face and then look at the other side, it already looks, you already look more awake, you know, more alert on what would be, I think, your left side than your right. And the one eye challenge, as we like to call it, it really, you know, makes a believer. Sometimes when you put it in both eyes, it's kind of hard to remember what you look like, you know, 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago. But when you put it in one eye, boy, it's like, wow, that now I see the difference. And not that you want to walk around with just one eye open. Obviously, you don't want to use it in both, but it really kind of cements the result in your mind and you know, gives you a real sense of what's going on with this drop.
Awesome. All right, Allie, well, you can put in the other eye so you have symmetry for the day. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Vish, why don't you tell us more on how easy it is to order with SkinSolutions.MD?
Yep, absolutely. And as you saw in the video, it is a very streamlined, straightforward process. We launched SkinSolutions.MD in 2013, really to extend that med spa experience to the home. You complete a simple online telemedicine consultation with the licensed provider. The provider determines if you're a candidate for Latisse or UPNEEQ, and along with other advanced skincare products we carry. And so, you know, products we carry on our website have been thoroughly researched, very safe, very effective, all FDA approved. The whole process can take, you know, 10 minutes or so to go through online. You know, over the years now, we've seen hundreds of thousands of patients that have had great success growing their lashes with daily application of Latisse. And now, since we launched UPNEEQ last year, we've seen thousands of patients that are satisfied using UPNEEQ regularly too. And you can see, you know, the before and afters are just truly incredible.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. So thank you for explaining how easy it is to order and for this to be accessible to everyone that has joined us in the webinar. And you guys share all this knowledge and this excitement with your friends and your family. I mean, this is just, it's really game changing. It really is, especially for someone like myself. So thank you for explaining that, Dr. Vish. Next, we will open up the webinar with any questions to all of you wonderful people that have joined us. And we'll be extending an amazing discount on UPNEEQ for your participation. So use the coupon codes presented on this slide. that you're going to see either on subscription. There it is right there. There's our coupon code slide right there. So you guys want to chime in that, write that information down, or maybe take a screenshot with your phone. And that's for both subscription or single purchase of UPNEEQ. So keep in mind, this offer does expire in 3 days. So just be mindful, share this information with your friends, share the coupon code with your friends and your family, and definitely take advantage of this amazing offer, you guys. But be mindful, that's 3 days from now. These codes will not be accessible. So I would highly suggest at the end of the webinar that you put your order in today. We're also giving away a Skin Medica Bright Eyes kit with every purchase of UPNEEQ, but we have very limited supply. So take advantage of this amazing offer while supplies last on this incredible gift with purchase. And also, everyone who purchases, this is great news, is going to be entered to win a year's supply of UPNEEQ. That is a year, okay? So that's a very expensive supply. We will randomly choose one winner when this sale concludes in 3 days' time, and we'll notify you via email. Like I said, that's $2,000 worth of UPNEEQ product for a year. So take advantage of this, everyone that's in here. This is an amazing promotion. So I guess on that note, I think Dr. Vish, Dr. Douglas, I would say it's time to open it up for a Q&A. So please bear with us as we assign questions to the correct panelists. We're going to go back and forth between Dr. Vish and Dr. Douglas when they feel it is appropriate for them to answer. You can enter your questions, you guys, right here in the little chat box where it says more, and then there's a Q&A at the top. So click on that. Oh, we have tons of questions going on here. Okay. And if your question is not answered today during the presentation, I would highly encourage all of you to email support@SkinSolutions.MD, and the Skin Solutions team will get back to you with all your answers. We'd be happy to assist in any.
Yeah, we can. We'll go through and maybe even type back the answers to some of these if we don't get a chance to get through all of them. We do want to make sure there's a lot of great questions in here I'm seeing, and we want to make sure that they're all answered.
Okay, awesome. Do you guys ship to Canada? That's a good question.
We are not currently shipping to Canada. That's an easy one. Sorry.
Okay.
So we're licensed and approved here in the United States.
Okay. All right. So someone's asking if you've had a lens replacement, can you use UPNEEQ?
That's a great question. So, one of the things that is really unique about this drop is that there are no contraindications. So how many other things do you really get that there are no contraindications? So if you've had a lens implant that's on the inside of the eye, that's no problem. If you wear contact lenses, just put the drop in before inserting your contact lenses. Wait about 10 minutes and then put your contact lenses in. So no contraindications to any of those issues.
Right.
Okay, wonderful. Side effects. I keep seeing a lot of questions about any kind of side effects whatsoever.
Yeah, so the side effects in the clinical studies were very mild. There was about 1% to 2% of patients who had any kind of installation site burning. Though UPNEEQ is actually made with no preservatives and from an artificial tear base, but it was hard to know why 1% to 2%. 1% to 2% also said that they had a mild headache or something like that. But those have been the majority. There's been no severe side effects, no problems as far as vision change, et cetera, or intraocular pressure change. But those have been those side effects that I mentioned have been reported in like the 1% to 2% range.
Here's a good question. I'd like to know the answer to this also. Can you use it with Lumify eye whitening drops? Because I'm an avid Lumify user also.
Yeah, so that it's not been part of a study. There's no contraindications with using it. What I would suggest as best practice is I would space those drops apart. Many, and just as anecdotally, many of my patients, personal note, have noted that this whitens their eye. So it's questionable whether you would even want to use both of them.
Okay. Can you use it more than once a day, and does it last longer than 8 hours? I personally know that it lasts longer than 8 hours from my own experience, but I don't know about the answer about using it more than once a day. That would be a doctor answer.
Yeah. So the drop is approved for once daily use on the box, and it does last on average 8 hours. And these are averages for most patients, and so we really didn't see much less than that. But for you, it lasts much longer, so that's great. And most of our patients don't have to reapply at night. It's up to patient preference. There appear to be no side effects, etc. If you wanted to reapply, there's no contraindications to doing that. If you wanted to reapply it, later on in that day.
Okay, great. Yeah, because sometimes I have extra drops. There is plenty amount in each vial, and so sometimes I go and just drop it in a little bit after, because I want to use it up and don't want it to go to waste. So we have so many questions here. Doctors, do you see any questions here that you want to just go ahead and dive into and touch base on in the chat room here? How many drops are in each dropper? For me, I get about 3 drops for each eye. Wouldn't you say that's about right, Dr. Vish?
Yes. And I see some great questions here. Someone's using it to help with symmetry of 2 eyes, and sounds like when they're using a full drop, that eye is actually becoming more open than the other one. So the question is, can they use a half drop to see if they get a less of a result? I think that would certainly be worth trying. And it may just be using maybe 1 drop in one eye and a half drop in the other eye until you can get, as close to even as possible.
And a lot of my patients will find that they'll have one eye that's a little droopier, but when they use it in both, it actually restores symmetry. And we've had patients like that, and even photos, it is surprising. So it does take a little trial and error, just as Dr. Vermillo is suggesting, and certainly safe for that consideration.
Here's someone, Karen is writing in. I've been using UPNEEQ for 6 months now. I love it. My only question or comment is that I feel like, I was trying to read that. I should be putting a product on my actual eyelid and not in the eye. Is there an eye cream that would go along with UPNEEQ to help with the lower lids? Is there a suggested eye cream or anything of that nature that you guys would, is there anything complementary? I know that Latisse is complementary, that's obvious, but is there anything else, I guess, maybe she's asking?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make one comment, and I'll let Dr. Verma go forward. But the drop, because the reason you're putting it inside the eye is that's where the muscle that raises your eye is located. So even if you put this drop on the outside of the eye, it wouldn't work as far as raising the eyelid. But because that muscle is right on the underside of the eyelid, and that's what it raises and opens the eye more. So that's just one consideration as to why you put it inside the eye.
Yes.
I love what Stephanie just wrote, Stephanie Jeffcoat. I use this in only one eye due to Botox lid dripping. This has saved me. It happens, the symmetry in Botox is tough sometimes, and so I can see, how this product would absolutely help, correct symmetry when it comes to, a Botox disaster or something like that. Okay, go ahead, gentlemen, if there's any other questions in here that you are finding attractive that you'd like to answer.
I see one question here. If you have a little bit left over, can you save it for the next day? I would think
that we advise. So, there are certain answers that, we advise according to FDA rules. They're single-use containers only. So my advice as an eye care professional is use it and then discard it. Whatever you do in the privacy of your own home is your business. But as a representative of the company, certainly they're designed as single-use containers only.
There's my friend Alec. I have a buddy in the chat room. UPNEEQ has definitely helped for my right eye that was acting up after Botox. Right on. I saw your comment when I was promoting that you're an UPNEEQ user. That's awesome. Okay, so also, does this help with dry eyes, gentlemen? Does it help with vision or dry eyes? Because I personally feel like it moisturizes my eyes, and I have I was at a all girls trip in New Mexico last week, and 2 of the girls owned aesthetic clinics, And one of them was mentioning how it does help with her vision, or at least she seems to think so. Is that true?
Well, I'll address the technical aspect first. It certainly does help with your visual field and seeing more, seeing brighter, because that's what was studied in the FDA approval, is that it actually raises your lid and you're able to see more of the world. And by improving your vision, it does. Now, dry eye, what I can say is that there was no worsening of dry eye, and this is made from an artificial tear. So we don't have any data, that suggests that it improves dry eye, but it certainly did not appear to alter vision in any way in that regard during the studies. But I'll let Dr. Verma kind of convey what patients have been finding, because that's probably more pertinent.
Yeah, and I would agree. I mean, patients definitely are not reporting having any adverse effects like dry eyes or irritation. In terms of people using it for dry eye, obviously not a primary purpose, but I think it does help a little bit. But I think the primary, of course, is to lift that upper eyelid.
Okay, some great questions. Let me see what else we got in here.
We may have covered this, obviously. How long does each application last? Typical is 8 hours or so. But as you reported, Lauren, you're seeing much longer. And we've had some patients that report much longer effects, but typically what we'd advise is, a solid 8 hours.
And it kicks in within, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah, so someone just says, does it really only last 8 hours? 8 hours is pretty good, but I'd say it lasts a little bit longer than for me. Now, when I say it lasts longer for me, it's not as dramatic as it is in the first day, but the results are still there for me the next day. And they're fantastic.
This is an interesting one. After stopping UPNEEQ, do your eyelids get droopier? That should not happen. There's no mechanism where it'd be adversely affecting the muscle to make it droopier.
Well, that's great news.
And I don't know, Dr. Douglas, if you want to add anything.
No, that's absolutely right. That muscle that contracts kind of responds to the same things such as coffee, etc. It's the one that widens your eyes if you see a lion, essentially. And once that muscle contracts, it just kind of returns back to normal. But that's the same muscle that UPNEEQ uses to contract and raise that eyelid, but turns right back to where it was before, as if you never used the drop.
Yeah.
And someone's asking, does it make your eye muscles stronger over time, do you think?
No, unfortunately, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not like working out your bicep. It doesn't do that.
It's a cup of coffee. It's not the gym, ladies and gentlemen.
And I guess along that dry eye topic, we have someone asking that they've read that you can't use it if you have dry eye. We haven't really seen that. There are no contraindications, as Dr. Douglas mentioned. So I don't think that would be an issue, and it'd be safe to try.
Yes.
Okay, someone's saying they're hearing impaired and they'd like to know what the code is. And so the code is webinar 25. It's displayed right here on a slide here. And so be sure to take a screenshot of that if you can. And maybe we can also type that out for someone here.
I'll put it in the answer box here.
Perfect. Okay, great. Awesome. I think that's great.
Let's
So is there any other questions you gentlemen would like to answer? Does anyone else have any chime in? When you order and put the code in, it's saying that it's not working. If there's any technical complications, our team will be on it immediately. So don't be discouraged. We are on it. Our team is on it 100%. So yeah, don't worry about that. This is all happening for everybody. So, gentlemen, is there any other questions that you'd like to answer in this chat room, or should we wrap this up?
No, I think it's great. I mean, you offer a really great solution to be able to get this, prescription product. It's not, and you're really breaking down any kind of barrier, but also demonstrating just how well it works. And there's just no other products available that open the eye, and how well it works with other, aesthetic products. And so really appreciate all your time and effort and making people aware.
Yes,
yeah,
well,
I'll be going through and I'll try to answer a few more here. Sorry, I'll just pick a few more while we still have the team asking if there's been any long-term studies.
So long-term studies, patients have, one study's been continuous use, 3 months. We've also had real-world studies where patients have used it continuously for several years. So most of what happens once a product gets approved is kind of real-world studies, and those have been coming out where individuals have been using it for quite a long period of time, several years. There again, this drop in this medication has been out for about 20 years in other forms, etc. So we know the safety profile exceptionally well. It doesn't appear to be, there's not going to be any surprises, etc. That emerge. So, very fortunate in that regard.
Great.
Someone's asking if you need a prescription. Yes, to reiterate, this is a prescription product and requires that online telemedicine consultation with the medical provider, but it's very simple process to go through.
Yes, I mean, we're delivering it right to your doorstep. All you have to do is, go through the medical inform take with online, and it'll be right to you. So you don't even have to go to the doctor or you don't even have to go anywhere. You can just go right online, do the intake on, with your medical profession that we supply for you. It's just perfect. It's so easy. So I think maybe this concludes our office hours presented by SkinSolutions.MD. Gentlemen, what do you think?
Absolutely. I appreciate everyone taking the time today.